This week, a bulging laundry bag dictates stop number 1, followed by a park up with a bonus monument, then a quality beachside campsite, and finally, a free woodland park up. But first, welcome to our channel. We are retired couple Kath and Sue and have been travelling and living in our motorhome for over 2 years. We started this adventure as 4, but we have sadly recently lost Archie, our brave old boy, and now continue as 3 with our loyal little girl Fudge. As the summer ends and the autumn begins, we cherish the happy memories and look forward to more memorable moments with Fudge by our side. Good morning, folks. Now today we're moving on from one of our lovely little park ups in Scotland, and we're heading to a camping and caravan club site. The reason for that is we have a bulging bag of laundry. I reckon we've got about 2 loads, so it's convenient, if a little expensive, to stay on one of those sites. With Sue behind the camera and me behind the wheel, we were beguiled by the mystery and majesty of the mountains along this journey. So you're going to have an exciting afternoon, are you?
As always, washing and cleaning.
So we have arrived at the Dingwall Camping and Caravan Club site. Really friendly welcome. This house right next to Ross County Football Club. Well, the site is a far cry from our usual rural locations, but you actually only have to walk a few minutes along this riverside path, and you've definitely got countryside all around. But for a one-night stopover and for the convenience of being able to do some washing, I think it's probably worth it. Well, we've come across that bridge and we're onto this little spur of land, which is next to a loch. I'm guessing, looking at it, because it looks very estuary-like, that it's a sea loch. I might be wrong. I'll have to have a look at that, because you know what we're like here. We don't do lots of research, we just explore and show you what we find. Well, I've reached the point where actually the river comes in from the loch, so I am going to have to go back, cross that bridge again, and then head over to the other side of the river where the path continues. Trusty old OS Maps has come good again. This is actually Cromarty Firth, which goes all the way out to the North Sea. On a day like today, what a beautiful place to sit and just enjoy the view on the Cromarty Firth. I'm on a bench which is in loving memory of Kenny Red MacLeod, 15th of the 10th 65 to the 23rd of the 3rd 20. That's not that old, is it? Yeah, he wasn't much older than, well, he isn't much older than me, and yet he died over 4 years ago. That's very sad. So thank you to the family of Kenny. This is very much appreciated. Another very decorative bench here. Well, there's the football ground, and there's the campsite. I'm just glad we're not here on match day, because I can imagine it would be a bit loud. This walk has been a very easy, short afternoon stroll. So as we head back, let's see how Sue's been getting on with washing and cleaning. Good morning. I'm only just up, but the sun's out. Sue's not running this morning. There isn't really anywhere to run here. It's been alright, it's served a purpose, but I'm really glad we're leaving and we're only here for one day, because Sue's found us another park up which looked good. So we haven't driven far. This is, I think it's only about 14 kilometres along the Cromarty Firth into this car park. And this is where I think we're going to stay the night. But the reason for being here is Sue has found a walk which takes us to a monument, and it looks like a nice walk, so we'll tell you more as we go. Well, this walk starts out as a nice amble through woodland, although it is uphill. This looks as if it's over quite a steep gorge as well, so this one's quite a pleasant bridge and it's not over a gorge that's quite as deep as that one that we did a couple of weeks ago. Well, I was expecting this to be a very gentle meander through the woods, so if you do come here, bear in mind it's not. It's uphill for quite a long way and it's quite steep. Well, as we've reached a slightly higher elevation on our walk, you start to come through the trees and you get a fantastic view of Cromarty Firth. This is it. I'm stood in front of the Fyrish Monument. I think that's the way you say it, but apologies if I've ruined it for anyone from Scotland. It was built in 1872 by Sir Hector Munro, and he'd been a general in the British Army. And he built it because Highlanders at that stage were going through really tough times. So he actually built it to give some work and employment for people who were struggling, which, you know, that's fairly benevolent, isn't it? So this is what's remaining of it. I've no idea what it looked like when it was first built in 1872. But he'd taken his inspiration for the design of this from a port town in India. I think it was called Negapetam at the time. It's changed its name since. And he'd been part of the British Army, captured that port town and took his inspiration for this monument. There you go, some fun facts from Kath. It was a little bit windy up top, but we're now back in woodland again. We've still only done about a quarter of this walk. Sue tells me there's some waterfalls, so looking forward to seeing what they're like. The waterfall's here. Oh.
I know we're taking that track down there.
All right, I missed a waterfall then. I think it is down there. I can hear a waterfall. It's down there somewhere. It's really steep. Even Fudge doesn't like this, so I'm heading back to the path. Come on, Fudge. This way, Fudge, this way. That was just a little bit scary, wasn't it? Yeah, it was thick with vegetation, so you could see that there was a massive drop and you could hear the waterfall, but just couldn't see it. Well, we made it back to the car park, and I have to say, I found that walk harder than I should have done, because it's not a difficult walk. It should have been about 7 miles, and Sue cut it a bit short because I don't think our pace was particularly good. But I have actually struggled on that one. Don't take that as a reason not to do it. Maybe I'm just having a bad day. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I am really, really looking forward to having a cup of tea now. That sounds all right. I don't think I explained where we were going to next. So this is West Bay Caravan Park. The nearest big town is Elgin, so we're right on the east coast of Scotland now. And again, the reason we've come here is for convenience, because Sue has a cousin that lives not too far from here. So we've booked in here for a couple of nights so we can catch up with them. Well, one of the features of the site that we're on is there's a bar and bistro. So we're definitely going to have to try that out whilst we're here. But for now, we're heading now along the East Coast Trail, or path, can't remember which it's called, for about a couple of miles. Some of the people who booked early got these pictures which are right along the edge looking out to sea. We're back at the van. We've had a lovely afternoon with Sue's cousin, her partner and the dogs. 2 very big dogs and a third old boy who reminds us so much of Archie. And then we were fed and watered, which was great, and then we've had that lovely walk back along the coastal path. So now we're hunkering down for the rest of the evening, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We've just come across this on our walk. There's a sign that tells us it's St Athan, or also known as St Aidens Well. And there is a bit of water and there's a grate. Now the little bit of water we can see is not very deep at all, but we reckon it must be very deep where they've put a grate over. He apparently brought Christianity to the Picts in the 7th century. And the Picts were the people of what we now know as Scotland. What I should say is today we're walking a little bit further along the coast to a little place called Burghead, and there's a harbour at Burghead, but there's also a Pictish fort, so we're going to take a look at that. Just found the Burghead Weatherstone. Love that, someone with a sense of humour. So here we are, we're at the headland of Burghead, and we're actually stood at the edge of the Pictish fort. I don't know quite what I was expecting, because the Picts were here a very, very long time ago, so there's clearly not a lot left. But there are some remnants of what would have been the ramparts. And there's a visitor centre up top, so we'll go and have a look up there. So these mounds here are what remains of the ramparts. I think these also might have been ramparts, because there were kind of higher, middle and lower ramparts, is my understanding. Go and have a look in the visitor centre, see if we can find out a bit more. Well, I've come up this side, and there is actually real live excavation going on here. Oh, you get a view of the harbour here as well. So you get a much better view of the fort from here, and you can see some of the live excavation work that's taking place right here and now. Fudge has done a runner towards the harbour. I think there's a fishy smell and it's too much to resist. We're inside the visitor centre now. Now it's just a donation to come in here, and there's a little TV programme running on a loop that tells you all about the development of the fort. and the pics at the time, the size of it would indicate that this was some kind of real strategic location for them. But sadly, time and Vikings and local other conflicts have led to its decline. Really nice to see that the University of Edinburgh doing the excavations now to see what they can find, and apparently they're finding lots of things that help understand how the Picts lived all of those years ago. Now Sue thinks I said the University of Edinburgh, and if I did, that was wrong. It's actually the University of Aberdeen. So apologies to all those students who've no doubt been working here very hard. So I'm stood now where it would have been the top of the fort, and you can see why anyone would build a fort here. You'd see people coming in from sea from absolutely miles, and actually in from land as well. Protecting yourself in those days, I can imagine, was a top priority. Well, this building I'm walking alongside now is a maltings. So that's where they take the barley and process it in order to make malt ready to go off to the distilleries. Now, I've been speaking to an expert, and so I take no credit for knowing this process, but they put the barley in these big tanks and then they steep it in water, and then after a while they drain it and aerate it for a bit, and then they put the water back in again, and then they go through that process again. So once they've done that twice, they then put it in the kiln to dry it out, turn it into malt, ready to go off to the distilleries. Well, we're heading back now, back over to the campsite, and we've decided that this afternoon we're going to try out the Bofy Bar. Well, I'm just sitting outside for now, but it does look as if it's going to rain, and I have checked. Dogs are allowed in until 5 o'clock, and as we're going to have an early tea, I think we'll be all right here. But I have just got a drink for now. Sue's gone off. Oh, I like to blow away. Sue's gone off to get some change because we've also got some laundry to do. We may as well make the most of it whilst there's a laundry machine here. Well, Sue's back, and we've tried to go in, but believe it or not, it's full. There are no tables free. So we're going to get a takeaway from the Salty Dog and take it back to the van, which seems like a reasonable compromise. Can't believe it's so busy. I think because there's not much in the area, even local people gravitate to here, and it's clear that a lot of people book tables. So something that we would need to be aware of for the next time that we come. Good morning. Well, we've had our last night at this beautiful campsite, so I thought I'd just tell you what I think about it. Well, at first I thought it was quite expensive. We are paying something like £33.50 per night, and we've stayed for 2 nights now. But when I compare that with the club site prices for both the Caravan and Motorhome Club and Camping and Caravan Club sites, I think this is a fair deal. This beach is literally a minute walk from where we are, which is just behind where you are now. So you're literally on the beach. You've got that beautiful Bofy Bar and the double-decker bus that you can sit in if you wanted to have a takeaway but eat inside. Obviously you can take it back to your van like we did yesterday. You've got some beautiful coastal walks along here. I haven't had a swim. I should have had a swim whilst I was here because there were children playing and paddleboarding and swimming in here yesterday. So I would say, all in all, reasonably good value for money. Now we're mid-September, whether it's a little bit more in the middle of August. It does close, I think, at the end of October, which is a shame because they've got hard standing, but maybe there's just not enough passing tourism to stay open for the whole of the winter as well. All in all, I think this has been a good one. And just in case you were wondering where this is from a sea view perspective, this is the Moray Firth. Well, this is the park up that Sue's found us. There's a cafe called the North Gateway Cafe, which is just over there, and just to the side of that there's this public car park in the trees with loads of woodland walks through there. So I think we are going to stop here for the night. just, you can probably hear the noise of the road, that's the A9, and we've looked at the reviews and some people say, you know, you get a bit of noise from the A9, but it serves a purpose for us so we can get into Inverness tomorrow to Pets at Home and collect Fudge's food. And that cafe is fantastic. I've had a coffee from the cafe, coffee from the cafe. What's Fudge up to? Anyway, and it's really nice and it's really busy. So if you stop here, it's good. There's toilets down there as well, so during the day. It's only the toilets, I think, are only open during the day. But yeah, so this will do for the night. So you never told me that the sun always shines in Scotland. Now, we've not been gone long from the car park. You can't hear anything, can you?
No, we can't actually.
Yeah, so I suppose the car park itself is probably going to be a bit noisy, but you soon get off the path and into these beautiful woods. Oh, well, the time has come where we're having to take our jumpers off because it really is so warm. And if you're wondering whether it's the same day or not, because I was wearing a different top this morning, don't wonder anymore. I am wearing a different top. I put on a long sleeve top because I thought, well, that'll be warm enough for today without a jumper. And then when I got back, changed it into a t-shirt because it was clearly going to be too hot. And then I walked out stupidly with my jumper on. And it's baking. So, jumper's off. Well, we're back at the van. We've been out for about an hour and 20, I suppose, and I'm going home to the cafe. I did already have a sneaky coffee at lunchtime, but I'm going to go and get another. Well, I got myself a coffee, and I think that's the perfect way to finish this video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And carry on following us in Scotland. We've got some more exciting park ups to come. Otherwise, well, we'll see you next time.